welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, your story titled, Postpone the Wedding with 6 days to go, and my fiancé has erased me from existence. And a shout out to Scott for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy who, I kid you not, 6 days before his wedding, walks out on his fiancée at like 4 o'clock in the morning when he's finally had enough. Like literally woke up in the middle of the night and said, I can't do this. Had words with her, and ultimately, he's gone. Handles it like a boss. However, up until this point, he is the exact opposite of the boss. This guy does everything wrong that guys absolutely should not do, and if he watched this channel, he would have done it. I'm talking white knighting for a, wait for it, single MOM. And take a wild guess what she does for a living. Nurse. Oh yeah. And there's all sorts of ugly stereotypes with that type of arrangement, and our guy puts up with it all. And I'm going to go over here, guys, to make the point that A, don't be like this guy, but B, in the end, if you learn enough and have enough self-respect, you can redeem yourself and save your life from a life of misery, someone like this being married to them. And aside also from that, this is a lesson to all the guys out there that, for goodness sake, it's so important. You need to know this information. And you can't be that white knight and that guy. And so many guys who don't know this type of stuff get roped in and taken advantage of by some gals that are truly narcissists. Just some really rotten people out there. So share these stories, guys, with your brother, your cousin, your best friend, your gym partner, your plumber, anybody that may be in a situation like this, because they got to know. And there's always hope. It starts off, says here, my fiance and I have been together for 2.5 years. When we met, chemistry was immediately there. We took it slow, didn't kiss until the 3rd date, and didn't spend the night together until date number 6. She had a 5-year-old son, whom I met afterwards, and I've been raising since then. Smack! Right then and there. Getting with the single MOM. Terrible idea. Doesn't mean they're all bad, but let me tell you, a heck of a lot are. And notice she said they didn't kiss until the 3rd date. I wouldn't be going on a date number 2 or certainly number 3 if there was no kissing on the first date. Because the way I see it, and a lot of guys do, if she likes you, she'll kiss you on the first date. Otherwise, she probably has rules and stuff like that, or she's putting you on a layaway. Because I guarantee you that Chad and Tyrone, she's kissing and doing a lot more on the first date. But, of course, on the first date, if she is doing way more than that, then that tells you a girlfriend material. But you get the point. She can at least kiss you, for heaven's sake. She was a traveling nurse. Switched to ER to spend time with me and her son. Her mom, 53 years old, was living with her to be nice to help her in childcare. All our values matched. Intimacy was a 10 out of 10, but issues arise about a year in. A nurse and a traveling nurse. But how nice of her, she stuck around for him. And now he's helping raising her kid. Oh, and her mom lives with her. How great. Why? Why set yourself up for this crap? Well, a lot of guys have to learn the hard way. Well, she was completing her bachelor's degree and had failed 3 humanities courses and needed help. I used to ghostwrite for money in college, so I offered to help. How is she a nurse if she hasn't gotten her bachelor's? Unless she's, she went for nursing and then she was getting another degree or something. I don't know. Another bachelor's degree. So I offered to help her. She had 3,000 level classes, which are challenging, but nothing I hadn't done before. She gave me her computer, her Mac, and it was showing that texts were popping up. I asked to turn off the notifications to not invade her privacy. She said no big deal, she had nothing to hide. When people say they have nothing to hide, they got something to hide. After I passed her class with a 99, she just said thank you and continued to text her mom and friends, but was short with me. Stop right there. So essentially, I guess it was like an online class. He was taking her classes. That shows you about her character. And now she's being short with him after he helped her out. So I looked at her messages, and she had been seeing 6 guys during the duration of our courtship. Slept with 2 of them for sure, and one of them the night after we became official. Messages were copy and pasted, and when I confronted her, she just said that I'd been burned before, so yeah. So yeah? Okay, she was seeing other people when they were dating, but she wasn't mentioning that to him. Hooking up with them. Notice that she made him wait the third date for a freaking kiss. And they didn't hook up to the sixth date, but those other guys she was hooking up with, and she hooked up with the dude after they became official. Yeah, this is when you dump this girl. Not to mention other things like, I don't know, she's a nurse. And I don't know that she's a single MOM. And I don't know her mom lives with her, so her mom's going to be up in your business. And the fact that she's devious and a cheater. That's not good quality or character. Well, I was going to end things right then and there, but she called me to come over and had her son on the phone. Oh, we could add manipulator, using her son to toy with this guy. I was weak, and I let them come over. Smack! That's exactly what she wanted. Bro, you had your shot. At this point, can't feel bad for you. Advice I got was 50-50 on leave her or forgive her. Well, things got better. I moved in a few months later. Everything was great. And the son called me dad since his was really not in the picture. Shocker. What a big surprise. The baby daddy is in the picture. Now, I feel bad for this kid, but still. Long story short, a lot of the values I thought we had, a quiet life, white picket fence, 2.5 kids, was probably a lie. Yeah. Her true colors really started coming out the first year in. He should have bailed. And now he's living with them and her mom. How fun is that? Now she's got herself a babysitter. Every time I would voice concerns because intimacy plummeted after she went on a girls' trip with a coworker she used to call a gold digger, who she called a gold digger and SLUT, and she almost missed her son's kindergarten graduation because of it. I tried to postpone the wedding multiple times, and she'd freak out and gaslight me into being the one who would apologize. Smack! Dude, remember she was the one who was cheating on you? And you're sticking around? That tells her that she can, guess what, keep cheating on you. And keep pulling bull crap. And you're going to keep taking her back. Why? Well, these guys have white knight syndromes, or they have such a low opinion of themselves, low self-esteem, they stay with chicks like this. And she's gone on girls' weekend or girls' trips with a girl she would say is an SLUT. Yeah, what is it? The pot calling the kettle black right there. It almost missed her kid's kindergarten graduation. Not that kids need to have kindergarten graduations or elementary school graduations or junior high graduation. All these kids have a fucking graduation nowadays is ridiculous. I'm sure a lot of you parents out there know all these graduations are ridiculous. There should be one graduation. High school, 12th grade, whoosh, done. Then college if you do that. Well, things would improve for 3 weeks or so, and then back to the misery. 3 months ago, I put my foot down on couples counseling and had to do with the lack of the sex drive, and she said she didn't know what the problem was. But this topic ended every serious relationship she's had in the past. Her mother and her boyfriends used to fight about it all the time, hence why she was raised by her grandmother instead until she had the son and needed help. Oh, he's not getting any very often. Shocker. You know why? Because she's at the hospital hooking up with fucking Dr. Huxtable and Dr. Drake Ramore and Dr. Victor Von Doom. Well, Von Doom wasn't that kind of doctor. You get the point. That's why she's not interested in sex. She's cheating. Well, we went to counseling and things got better. You keep saying that. They're not getting better. She's getting better at covering her tracks. But her mother, who is not disabled, started to be passive-aggressive towards me. All my free time was spent watching and raising her son. And I couldn't handle it anymore. So a week before the wedding, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and told her I couldn't get married that Saturday. Well, it's about time, amigo. How about not get married ever? How about pack your shit and get out of there? You are being used, dude. I mean, come on here. Initial response was concern for the relationship, but it quickly turned into financial concerns, and there was anger, throwing away the wedding calendar, telling her friends and family not to come, and I tried to explain that I wanted to get married, but I couldn't with the existing issues. They're only getting worse with marriage. She said, we get married as planned, or we're done, because she will never choose me over her mother. In other words, she's giving him an ultimatum. And why is she giving him the ultimatum? What gives her the gall to do that? Because she knows she can push this guy around. You know, she knows she's probably isolated him from everybody else. Typical narcissistic behavior. Everything's always his fault. And he keeps falling for it. Well, I packed my bag to go stay the night at my parents' house. And within the hour, all social media was updated to single. Our photos were deleted, the works. She then started texting me if I had scheduled an appointment for the couple's counselor. Major confusion on my part, and then she went completely scorched earth on insulting me to the point of almost detecting me, and then claiming it was her idea that us continue using wouldn't be in anybody's best interest. She told me that I would never see her son again. Oh, weaponizing the kid, huh? She went on the cruise my family paid for on our honeymoon, and she's been partying, posting single girl selfies, and acting like nothing happened. Why didn't your parents cancel the cruise? She's off on the cruise, brought one of her girlfriends there. What do you think she's doing? Bro, this is who she is. The first year was just to rope you in. Why? Because she needed a daddy for her kid, and that's what she got. She got you to move in. And obviously, you're probably paying for the majority of the bills, watching her kid. She ain't at work. And if she is at work, again, she's with Dr. Huxtable and Dr. Drake Ramore. Little Friends throwback there. For God's sakes. It's obvious. There had to be other people telling you something's going on here. But don't worry, guys. We're having a good ending here. Well, I obviously made the right decision. But I don't know what I feel. I basically lost my wife and my son. I don't want to even try dating for a long time. Meanwhile, all her friends are asking me what happened and if they could talk me out of calling off the wedding. Of course her friends are asking you to not call off the wedding. You know? They want to be in the wedding, or because young people want to be in weddings, and she probably put on a show to them. But they probably also don't know all the story. And by the way, notice he said, my son. Dude, that ain't your son. That's somebody else's son. That's good of you that you were treating the boy like your son. He's a nice guy, but look what happens to the nice guys. Well, initially I ignored it, not wanting to air her infidelity to her friends and family. She said she never told anyone. But eventually I did respond to her best friend's husband, who has the lifestyle that we both said we wanted, letting him know everything, and he was speechless. Dude, you have to control the narrative, because look what she was doing. He walked out on her, and she immediately took him off social media, said she's single, said a bunch of crap, obviously painting him as the bad guy here. As humiliating as it is, guys, you have to control the narrative, or they will. Well, my therapist said I've been in an abusive relationship for the past 2 years. She only told me now that I made the decision to call it off. Isn't it your therapist's job to tell you things that you need to hear, regardless whether you like it or not only after you called it off? Why didn't she tell you that you're in an abusive relationship beforehand? Might be time to get a new therapist, my friend. And I don't know what to feel. I'm devastated at the loss. I'm mourning the relationship with her and the loss of her son. Smack! Mourning the relationship with her. Your relationship was awful. She's a rotten woman. Who you fell in love with, and you shouldn't be in love with your girl. That's a terrible idea, and you guys know why. That wasn't who she was. It was a big act to rope in another white knight, as many of these single moms do. What should I do? She packed up all my stuff within hours of me going to stay with my parents for a night and told me she loved me, but what I'm seeing is not the person I knew at all. No, dude, this person you're seeing is the real her. Her mother even started posting really mean things on Facebook about my character that contradict the good times that we shared. We spent a lot of time at the house together when my ex was working and her son was with his grandparents. Well, if she's dragging your name through the mud, you can always go to a lawyer about cease and desist, otherwise defamation suit against her. I'm aware I'm an idiot for staying as long as I did. Hey, I'm glad you can admit that, dude. But what is going on with the woman I loved, and what should I do? Forget about her. I think I got tricked, and the goal was to use me to get into a house. And now that that's clearly is happening, it's on to the next one, ASAP. Bro, now you're waking up. Hindsight's 2020. Of course you're being used. And that sucks. But at least you didn't marry her. At least you had the brains and the balls to finally end it. Now he has a 2-week update here. He says, I got the last of my belongings dropped off today. I was amazed because she hates driving and it's an hour away. My friends and family have all gone back home and have been extremely supportive of me and gave serious feedback. Some of it harsh but necessary. She was a narcissist. Yes. And soon she'll have another victim. I spoke with my therapist. It was an abusive relationship the entire time. I got trauma bonded, push and pull, as some of you described, and they isolated me. or I let them isolate me. And seeing her true colors was painful at first, but I feel free. Dude, you are free. You're free to learn from this and start over. But you better watch out, otherwise you're going to get another relationship like this. I'm taking an undetermined amount of time to focus on what I want because my wants and needs have been on the bottom of everyone's list in that household, including my own. As some of you have pointed out, the real victim in this situation is the son. I can pray for the best, but that's all I can do. Yeah, I feel bad for that kid. His mom is a freaking piece of garbage. Grandma's a piece of garbage. His dad is in the picture. This dude here telling the story is the only probably stable rocket in his life, and now he's gone. But, dude, that can't be your problem. You got to take care of you. That's the problem with this guy. He puts all his needs last. Typical nice guy behavior. At the end of the day, he was never my son. This morning was the first time I felt good. I went to church, reconnected with the community, and went to the gym for the first time in 2 weeks. And I realized this was the best possible outcome. Sure, I made awful choices, but now I know what not to do, and whenever I do try dating again. Well, that's good, man. You learned from this. But you'll be tested. I guarantee you this guy is going to end up with a girl that probably seems like the damsel in distress or some damn thing, and his nice guy programming is going to try to take over. Better not. Thank you everyone for not completely tearing me apart. Some of you made me laugh and others gave me encouragement. This may be sappy and pathos driven, but I'm thankful for everyone who read this and gave me the pinches of wisdom and empathy. Now, he responded a lot to comments in the comments section, so I'm going to read a lot of the things he says that sheds more light on the issue. But before I do that, all I can say is this. Yes, he screwed up royally. Holy crap. But at least, in the end, he got rid of her. Sort of. He called off the wedding or postponed it and she just got rid of him. But he stayed away. He didn't come back to her, thank God. And now this guy's on the path of recovery. Back to the gym, getting back to church, that type of thing. But he really needs to do some serious soul searching to say, why did I get involved with someone like that? Why did I stay with someone like that when I got out that she was cheating? And all these other clues. Why did he have to go with a single mom? A nurse. He may obviously not know about the reputation of nurses. Many guys don't. Or single moms. But now he knows. And why did he just keep sacrificing his happiness? Her. But then again, that's the narrative that men are supposed to do that. I guarantee this girl was sleeping with guys that did the exact opposite of him. So guys, remember this. Plenty of women are out there, single moms or not single moms, that will want to settle with a guy who they do not love at all just for what they can provide. You must understand that. And if you're the type of guy, if you're honest with yourself, that women weren't chasing after, and now that you're in your late 20s or early 30s and you're established, you got yourself maybe a nice condo or a house, you got a good paying job, you're looking good, and all of a sudden they're chasing after you because you're single, be very careful about their sincerity and what really is driving this. Because if you haven't changed much since your days, high school and college, they weren't chasing after you, but now they are, and the only thing that's changed is that you have some money coming in. Dude, be careful. You're being used. Anyhow, take it one day at a time, bro. Hit the gym, spend time with family. You'll get there. But don't ever get involved with someone like this again. Now, more to the story here about his responses to various comments. One of his comments was, yep, I was going to end it then and there. He's referring to when he found out that she was cheating on him. But she called me on her way over with her son on speakerphone about how excited he was to see me, and I didn't have it in me to send them away. I was an idiot. But I learned a lot about myself. That time will fix things, and I don't need another person to fulfill me. Only I can do that, and there can be room for a life partner. Well, good. And notice that remember how he was going to break up with her, and she got the son on the phone, and, we're going to go see him? Totally manipulated him. That was awful. Another one. He says, it was actually my female friends and family who said give it another chance since the behavior hadn't recurred. Maybe they were speaking of what they would want if it happened to them. Ding, ding, ding. He asked female friends for advice and family when he found that she was a cheater and all that. And of course, right there, this is why you don't do that. But I was not totally honest with my therapist, and that's on me, not her. She's fantastic, and I'm seeing a therapist, so I already have things about myself I need sorting out. Oh, okay. Well, why are you going to a therapist if you're not going to be honest with them? That's like going to that's like seeing your accountant or tax preparer and not being quite honest with your numbers and everything. And then next thing you know, you get a notice from the IRS and you got to go to the fucking accountant and, you know what I mean? That's stupid. You're there for the therapy to get help. Another one. He says, yeah, like Joseph Stalin, the same day she erased me off her social media, she went to a single relationship status and then went on the honeymoon cruise my parents paid for and posted stories of her with dudes and excessive drinking. My sister was like, she's posting I'm available selfies. Yes, and why didn't they cancel the cruise? Thank God it happened so fast and hard, because now I don't even miss her. Masterclass in getting me to a breaking point, then changing her behavior back to how it was when we met for a couple weeks. The rinse repeat cycle. The last one was after our honeymoon. I want us to try to make a baby, she said, which of course is something I want one day. It's embarrassing because I was basically in a cult, but I finally feel free. My cousin is a lawyer, and he said the only thing I'm obligated to do is maintain the current lease on the apartment unless I want to break it and let it hit my credit. Overall, for now, any kind of relationship, let alone marriage, doesn't sound appealing to me at all. I'm just going to focus on myself. There you go, dude. That's key. Nice guys don't focus on themselves. They focus on everybody else and making them happy. I want to finish my black belt, reconnect with friends who came out to visit me despite the wedding being canceled, and figure out what it is in myself that will make me happy. I appreciate the supportive comments here. Thank you very much. Great, dude. Great. Notice he said after she was on the cruise and acted like a fucking hoe bag, then she reached out to him and tried to get him back. Isn't that amazing? But he didn't do it. So he's learned. Next one. He says, I definitely hid some things from my therapist out of fear of being judged. I'd highlight the good stuff and minimize the bad stuff. It was foolish, but I wanted to work so bad, I basically was in the process of being isolated from my family to support her, her mother, and her son. Don't lie to your therapist. I believe she thought she wanted her life as her best friend had, married a man who dug her out of addiction, adopted her children, and had one of her own, church-going family, white picket fence, and I believe she did want that, but I didn't realize what it meant to get there. So either did he say that she had an addiction or her friend had an addiction and this other nice guy, white knight, came to save her friend? I don't know, but the point is, bad situation. Well, the husband called me nonstop to try to get the reasoning why, and I finally picked up and let him know everything. He was speechless and said he was so sorry that what I described was not the person they knew at all. This is a day or two ago. Okay, this is the friend who was in a they were kind of like wanting to be like them. I don't hate them, but I do feel sorry in the sense that she will never get the life she wanted, especially with the freeloading mother. It's weird. I wanted them to be happy, but nothing to do with them at the same time. It was like 2 breakups because of her son. He came so far in the years I helped raise him, but he's going to regress, and Lord only knows what they're saying about me to him. They didn't hold back on their thoughts of his own father. It's been a huge learning experience for me. I need to be careful and not get jaded, but in the end, I'm grateful for how things turned out. My approach to the future will be very different. Hopefully, the same will apply to her too. And there you go. So this guy still has a lot of work to go. I mean, that's great. He's being idle. You know, I wish her the best and all that stuff like that. But frankly, I want to wish her the best. She's a freaking asshole. I still feel bad for that kid. And that kid's going to be messed up, you know. Because it sounds like the only good thing in his life was this dude here. But that's not a reason for him to stay and have a relationship with him. So going forward, like I said before, work on himself one day at a time. Find out what it is about him that has to be that nice guy and cling to people like that and rescue them and put all your needs last. You know, the biggest difference between nice guys and bad boys are bad boys always put themselves first and will always walk away and check the woman. Nice guys always put themselves last, their needs last, and will never check or put in place a woman who's being an a-hole to them or taking advantage of them because they're so fearful of being alone and making her mad. And how are bad boys treated by the girl? And how are the nice guys treated by the girl? So, learn from that. End of story. So there you go, guys. That's what not to do, but at least our guy in the end handled it right, and he's on a road to recovery from being a nice guy to not a bad boy, but hopefully somewhere in the middle. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.